I'm Kate.
I'm Sonia.
And I'm Beverly, and today we're dishing with you at Mayfair and Pine in the heart of Glover Park at 2218 Wisconsin Avenue Northwest. It's an American gastropub, and you're gonna love it.
And the food looks amazing that we have in front of us today. We have scallops with cilantro and an Israeli couscous and a stone fruit salsa. In the middle, we have candied apple salad. And on the far end, we have chipeño, which is a San Francisco treat, which is basically just a fisherman's stew, but I am gonna eat this all up, just myself.
It all looks scrumptious. We're excited to be here for so many reasons. One, the new Mayfair and Pine is owned and operated by Chef Emily Sprissler and her husband. Emily is very recognizable because she was on Top Chef Season 2 and has just opened this place. It's brand new. And we also are excited to announce that we are now on the brand new District of Columbia network. So you can continue to watch us online, or you can check us out on Channel 16.
And we are here today with Chef Emily Sprissler, and if she looks familiar to you, she should, because she was on Top Chef Season 2, and she is the owner of this fine establishment, Mayfair and Pine.
And in honor of Top Chef, I will be playing the part of Padma today.
The question...
I think Season 2 is the best season to be on, because Season 1, everyone's figuring out if it's going to be a really cool show, and Season 2, they've already realized it's a really cool show, and then they're like, all into it. So you had the best season.
And the question I have for you, do you really have such little time to make the food like it looks?
When they start that big clock.
Yeah, is that real?
Did they pause it?
Are you allowed to tell us? She's like,
The first rule of Top Chef is one does not talk about Top Chef.
But your silence, I think, has given us a little bit of a tip. Okay. That makes me feel better about my cooking skills.
You gotta remember, you know, I'm a DC girl, so you know, if you can't quote me on it. So I learned a lot from the Oliver North trials. I shred it all. Shred it.
So we're sitting here in your place, which is incredible, but a lot of Top Chef testants, we'll call you that, Top Chef testants, have ended up here in DC. Why is DC the place for you to come? And you said you're from DC, so we're glad to have you back, but all of your compatriots are coming here too. Why is this such a great place to open a restaurant?
Well, I mean, I grew up in DC, so I did, you know, I snuck out in high school to go to tracks on Thursdays and Saturdays. So.
We were probably there at the same time.
Awesome. Good to know. I thought you looked familiar. And I just, you know, I grew up, you know, I was a teenager in DC, so, and my family still lives here. So, you know,
so
it's nothing to me to drive across the Key Bridge listening to some old DC hardcore, and you know.
So really, did DC call you after all of your world travels to London?
No, actually my dad did. He told me it's time to come home. Yeah. Yeah, he was sick of flying to wherever I was, so he said, you need to come home now.
Well, we're glad that you're here.
And let's talk about the food. Do you like, I mean, obviously you cook for a living. Do you like to cook? Did you grow up cooking? Is it something you ever gifted at?
I grew up in a foodie family. My dad is a big wine guy, and my parents traveled quite extensively, and they would always bring back some of the most bizarre stuff. Like, they actually spent a lot of time in London, and they would go to all the food halls at Harrods and Fortnum and Mason, and they would bring home just the most random stuff. And so, you know, and then we'd spend summers traipsing through vineyards and stuff, and this is kind of pre-wine craze, so there was no, you know, $1 million welcome center, 4-star chef restaurant. So I grew up in a foodie family. So
and what's your favorite dish? Do you
like
have
in
one?
the whole world? No, I mean, I have a lot of stuff that I really like, but it really depends on who I'm cooking it for. So,
and do you serve your favorite dishes here?
I do serve some of them, yeah. So, but I couldn't put everything on the opening menu because I had to I just save some of my tricks for later. So.
So one thing that I've heard that people really love are your opening bread baskets, because there's toast in them.
Yeah, there's toast.
What's the story there?
Toast is toast. I mean, it's good stuff, you know, and we really are trying to get a lot of families in here. So, and when you drop a bread basket, you have to make sure that everybody at the table, from, you know, 3 years old to 30 years old to 300 years old, can, you know, easily pick up, and it's, you know, it's very accessible, and toast is easy to pick up. Little biscuits are easy to pick up, and the flavor base is the same. You know, you can put something on it or you cannot, so you can easily hand it to a testy 5-year-old and they're good to go. So
I heard
We
that
should feel like
omelets
there's-
is like the hardest thing to make. Is
omelets, eggs. You mean egg omelets?
Yeah, like I don't. This is what I've heard. I am not.
Okay, it's like.
As I like to say, I cannot boil
Yeah, but come
toast,
on, you're a
so-
professional.
Yeah, so
Well-
is toast and omelets like sort of those things that if you make a really good piece of toast, like you know that you're in a
Well,
fine.
toast is very personal. Some people like you need to burn it. I've had customers return the bread basket because
It's not cooked. It's undercooked.
the toast isn't burnt, so we've burnt it.
Crusts
Sent it
off?
Oh yeah, no,
Okay,
burnt
no.
it. Burnt it like smoking. And they're like, oh, this is much
And now
better.
they're happy? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Huh.
You know,
So-
toast is personal.
So this is a very personal place for you as well because you named it after places literally that you and your husband have lived or fell in love and all of that.
Right.
So can you give us the short story behind how this came to be?
Mayfair is the neighborhood in London where my husband and I stayed while we were on our honeymoon. And 9 months later, our son was born. So there you go. And Pine is the street we lived on in San Francisco. So.
But so, you know, when people see here Mayfair, they might think that it has a British kind of feel to it, but this is an American gastropub. What does that mean?
Well, I took a lot of inspiration for this place, for my overall restaurant concept, from the sort of British gastropub movement. And it's not so much that, yes, we have fish and chips on the menu, but the price of alcohol and the non-smoking ban really started to shut down pubs all throughout Britain. So they really turned to their culinary heritage, and everything that they was on the menu was either local or it was a British product. And so I took that and I translated it into the United States. And I just really consider, having lived in different places and whatnot, that, you know, America is really my local. So it became an American gastropub because I pull stuff from all 50 states.
So where are these things from?
This is a cioppino from San Francisco, but it was cooked here. We didn't get it shipped in. We didn't get it shipped in. You know, and the apples are from Virginia. So the scallops, they're from New England.
Okay.
You know, the cilantro was grown in Pennsylvania. The nectarines, upstate New York.
And she knows where all of it's from.
I do. I harass my purveyors on a regular basis. I send, for every 2 deliveries I get, 1 gets sent back because I'm not happy with something, or, you know, what I thought was American snapper turned out not to be. So, you know, when they tell me it's from the Gulf, from the Louisiana Gulf fishermen, and I'm getting it in my restaurant, when I look at the tag and it's not, it goes back. So I take that very seriously, especially in this economy. Like, I'm using my customers' money to keep other food purveyors in business. Like, what's on your table is from your country. We're all in this kind of economy together. So, you know, I take it very personally, and I don't like when people try to get it past me so it gets set back.
Where's the good place to shop in Washington for foods? Like if we really want to get the best in produce and fish, is there a good recommendation you have?
Honestly, you know, you got to go to your farmers markets, and you really do. And it's almost a full-time job, I think, you know, going to your farmers markets. But you need to develop a relationship, and honestly, get in your car and go to their farm, because a lot of their stuff they'll leave behind. And once you start that relationship with them, whether you meet somebody who they're farming pork or produce or whatever, you know, you're on their list, and they'll want you to have their product.
And they'll bring it specially for you.
Yeah.
Is it important to eat seasonally? You know, whatever's in right now.
Problem is, it's hard to really dictate seasonality because, you know, in San Francisco and Northern California, seasonality is open. You know, but on the East Coast, seasonal really depends on what our winters likes. You know, what I look for is the genesis of the product. Is it an American farmer? Is it an American rancher? And then I look, okay, if I'm going to use this bison like we use on our bison burger, is it free roaming American bison? And that's my thought process. So I look for seasonality, but I look for made in the U.S. first.
You have been, not before you came here, you were in Vegas. You and your husband were both working for Michael Mina at a restaurant there. So how has being on Top Chef and all of your other experiences really led you to open the type of restaurant that you have here? And what has it changed about you as a chef from when you were in those culinary days back before you met your husband?
Well, I definitely have to be a lot more responsible with my time, and because it's a huge responsibility, not just running your own restaurant and all that, but I'm responsible for 35 jobs. So
and you have to be this face of the place because everyone they know you now, so they want to see you, they want to talk to you.
They do, and it's I think it's a little frustrating for my husband, but I don't think much has changed because I still really like being behind the line, and as much to the annoyance of my cooks. Like, chef, get out of the way. But really, you know, Top Chef and living in Vegas and San Francisco and, you know, working overseas and whatnot, it just all led me here. And really, it kind of took the economy falling apart for me to really focus in on what I was looking for as a chef. Because I don't stop being a chef after 8 hours. Like, I wake up as a chef and I follow, well, actually, I'm more like I lose consciousness. So you know, nothing really changed. It just constantly evolves.
Does your husband cook for you?
We actually cook for each other, and it's really, I think it's really frustrating for everybody else because like one person will start and the other person gets nosy, but nobody complains at Thanksgiving or Christmas. So nobody complains because it takes, I mean, honestly, it takes us 2 hours to do Thanksgiving.
Wow.
So.
Oh my goodness, so when you're not in the kitchen and you're not here, what do you like to do around town? Do you ever have a time when you're not here? You just opened this place like less than 2 months ago.
No, I have a small child and I have a restaurant. So
You have 2 small children then.
I do. I do.
You have no free time.
I don't have any free time. I was actually, it was kind of nice. I was standing over there and I broke my high score on Bejeweled for the first time. So I was really, thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. So, but now, I mean, when I'm in my off time, you know, the hour before I actually lose consciousness, after service is over, you know, I spend my time researching products, going over menus and whatnot, because, I mean, we had only been open a week and I already started planning the fall menu. And, you know, desserts, I'm not a pastry chef, so desserts is a constant, like, worry on my part. Like, am I meeting the customer's demands? Am I meeting my own demands? And, you know, my standards are just so high sometimes that, you know, who needs sleep? Who does? Come on!
You don't need sleep, you just need good food.
Yeah, and good coffee. Good coffee helps.
Good coffee, that's right.
helps. Yeah,
That's important.
yeah.
Or tea.
Yeah, good tea. Yeah.
Good tea.
Well, she lived in England for so long. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
having
you.
us, for letting us be
Well,
here.
thanks for coming to visit.
Hear
So I
a
hope-
little bit about
Very
you know,
looking forward to having
Yes.
all of this,
All of
but
this.
really I want to try the scallops. That
I
looks
know, now we're
fantastic.
gonna fight over
That
it.
is like a personal favorite dish, and I'm very sad that nectarines are soon gonna not be available.
So come in now and get
Yeah, so
Now's
come
the
in now
time.
and get them because I mean, really, 2 more weeks and they're going to be gone. So
Okay.
All right, Chef, thanks so much.
thanks so much
Thanks, Chef.
for coming to visit.
And as always, thank you for joining us. You can follow us on Facebook. You can be our fan on Twitter. You should tell us where you'd like to see us dishing from next, because as you can see, we're at the new hot places in town. So we'll be back, and you can check us out right here on the new DCN.